The High Dominion of Syndar has successfully averted a mass extinction crisis. However, a mysterious and enigmatic neighbor looms threateningly nearby. Time may be limited for the Sundrians to secure a stable bulwark of territory on all sides. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris Galactic Paragons in our High Dominion 2 series. So, right at the end of the last episode, our council agenda declared itself ready for launch. So we're going to go from a 10% monthly unity bonus to a 40% monthly unity bonus for 10 years. There we go. And now we get to choose a new agenda as a result. Now, we could use Display of Power, which again, at launch only provides an additional 0.25 influence from power projection, and in order to maximize that, we would have to make the most of our naval capacity, which we're going to be doing as soon as possible, given that we, have a potential threat nearby. We would, however, reduce our war exhaustion gain and increase militarist ethics attraction by 10%. We could expand the council, which always good to do in the early game. We could preserve the order, which preserving the order would increase worker and slave pop output and authoritarian ethics attraction. So all of these, or these first two at least, are providing boosts to ethics that we already have. And then, of course, once this was launched, again, as we discussed in the first episode, workers and slaves would have less political power. So that's one that's kind of worth thinking about, maybe. Strong on our own would increase pop growth speed and increase xenophobe ethics attraction. So again, these three here, well, Display of Power, Preserve the Order, and Strong on our own, all of these are based on our current ethics. And so it's ways to bolster certain ethics so that we can, just sort of be more confident in ourselves, I suppose, would be one way to put it. Superior colonies would, of course, increase our colony development speed, but we don't have a lot of colony worlds immediately available to us. We did just discover potentially 3 more here in the tier system, and that's quite a system. So I'm very excited to take a closer look at that this episode. But for now, we've already launched infinite agendas, and it's on cooldown. And there are several agendas. God, you can look through all the ones that are unavailable because we don't have different versions of traditions or civics or ethics. Oh my God, it's so good. There are so many options. So I'm trying to think of the one that would be the most helpful. Extra influence from power projection would be more useful to me if I didn't already have 275 influence. Less war exhaustion gain is good. Expanding the council is honestly the most tempting of all my options right now. I don't feel the need to do any of the others, but expand, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's going to take 179 months. Wow. It's going to take a long time before this agenda is ready to launch. But when it's done, we'll have another counselor slot, which is another person that can give the entire empire bonuses. And when they die, we can just put someone else in their slot and get some additional bonuses from that. So more counselor slots. Yes, please. Let me also take a close look. We're going to go to speed... We're going to stay on speed 1 for just a moment and see how things go. Now, remember that we had this ship out here investigating the very last of the mass extinction planets. So now I can come back and I can study some of the other areas that are available to me here. So I'm going to give those orders. We've got Eolum and then Tier, which is... All right, we are surveying both of those systems, right? Yes. So I'm just looking at their list of options and it's not showing... Oh, yeah. I want you to survey those and then survey those. Got it. Okay, yeah, so Tier's at the very top of the list. I'm expecting to see like all of the items on the list the same way, but for whatever reason, Tier is showing just as one item on the list. That was throwing me off. So then I'm going to have them come over here. It will... Oh, hello. I take that back then. Let's survey, survey, survey. I realize that I have the auto-explore function, but right now there are very specific systems that I want my science ships to explore. And then I'm going to have my science ship over here follow the same sequence of orders so that they can as a team, get to those systems as quickly as possible. We are building the Carenza starbase. That's happening right now. And we have this construction ship here. Yeah, you know what? Let me go ahead and send them to Eolum. All right, perfect. Let's build mining stations and a research station. It does seem like, for whatever reason... Oh, nice. We have more... Man, there are colonizable worlds nearby. So I'm going to try and lock down this entire area while I can. Ooh, Ferris Mandate is ready for their upgrade to their central... So we aren't going to be using a reassembled ship shelter anymore. We will finally have a proper colony. If this was a Roma Galactica series, we would be renaming the colony with a full colony name. It would no longer be just a fledgling colony. Anyway, during its survey of Veracis Black Hole, the ATS Caderanis discovered a previously unknown strategic resource dubbed Dark Matter. The exotic substance has many properties that seemingly defy several natural laws. It could potentially revolutionize the sciences. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. So we've got some dark matter in the Veracis black hole. It really does seem like those science ships that shot in here and investigated everywhere, I don't know that they actually...
Technology secured.
I don't know that they have systems anywhere nearby. So I'm going to try and lock down this cluster while I can. Pop growth speed has just improved by 10%. Okay. Ooh, that's rough. All three of those are important. I'm going to go for space combat, though, because that edict... Naval capacity, too, though. All three of these are so good. I'm going to go for quality over quantity. We're going to say Doctrine, Space Combat. We're not going to improve naval capacity just yet. There are other ways potentially to improve naval capacity that I could use. So I'll bear that in mind. Also, it's probably worthwhile for me to go ahead and upgrade this starport here. And, okay, let's go back to Speed 2 for a moment. I'm not going to make my other decisions yet with regard to which systems are getting upgraded starports, but we're going to pay very close attention to that. Yeah.
Star system charted.
Okay, so, you know what? It's time. I need 2 more construction ships. We just don't have enough going on. And once I have another leader capacity, I think I'm going to train an additional scientist as well. Just the 2 is a little bit limiting right now, I have to say. Alright, so we're running on Speed 2. Pretty confident that I'm locking down at least half of this cluster. Although these guys have explored most of it.
Technology secured.
Alright, what have we here? Our Minister of Defense. Oh, good timing.
Anomaly found.
If we're going to be fighting, we need this to be... we need this character of all characters to be in good shape. So we can improve logistic understanding, which reduces ship upkeep and army upkeep. Ooh, we could also give them unyielding as a leader trait, which reduces combat disengagement chance, which is bad, but it means that you'll keep a larger force in battle on the front lines fighting as hard as they can. So there's some give and take, but it's primarily bad. I'm going to say adaptable, because if we have a war coming and they have an opportunity to gain a lot of experience, then that could be the best thing for them. All right, atmospheric readings from Tier 2 do not match simulated projections. Okay, 120 days. Go ahead and research it. Research speed plus 5% is done. All right, I'm going to definitely look into the fusion reactor. We have our first fleet here going back and forth, just patrolling as much as possible. Okay, so let's see where these construction ships are going. We have you there, you there, and then this one. All right, so we have another one ready. I think this is where I want to send the majority of the construction ships. I want to have all of them here working together to lock this down as fast as possible. If I can get all of this, then I'll be very happy. But it's going to be tough. I at least want to get the Baracus black hole. The TU starbase has finished its construction process. Good. Let's go ahead and pause for a moment while we consider what to add here. I actually think that I would benefit from having... You know what? Let's do a shipyard and an anchorage in TUs. I'll do some defensive stations a little bit closer to the edge of our territory, but right now, I want to have some systems that can help me build up my ships. Swirling shadows. Immense ragged planes of shadow drift across Tier 2's face. They are cast not by clouds, but by sheets of organic material drifting through the upper layers of the atmosphere, hinged, or rather jointed, to allow for a small degree of articulation. Science Officer Gitu, son of Baga, is as yet unwilling to say whether these things are flora or fauna, or what possible purpose, if any, their elaborate shadow casting might serve. That's another classic Stellaris event. We've all seen that one many times, at least those of us that have played Stellaris for an extended period. Alright, yeah, so I was about to say, you better be a science ship. Alright, so we have this ship going to the Baracus black hole. We have this science ship exploring Uscomia. Let's leave that be for now. We have a lot of very nice anomalies being discovered, which probably are related to the Cybrix, would be my guess. Okay. Yeah, so you're moving to Uscomia. I want you to go ahead and build a starbase. Please. Alright, so you can go to Uxfriri. Now, Uxfriri actually has a tundra and an Arctic world, which is amazing. The Savannah world is not going to be useful to us for a while, but the tundra and Arctic world, yes. First contact event pending. Oh, finally. Our efforts to decipher the signals picked up from the Sin Menace have paid off, and we have finally made a breakthrough. While our mastery of their language may not be complete, we have managed to identify them as the Urian Sacred Covenant and are now able to communicate with them, should we ever feel the need. So, we have an intel boost on them. We gained 40 influence on screen. Oh, interesting. They're slaving despots. So they're very similar to us in their disposition. They're authoritarian, they're xenophobe, and they're spiritualist. Heed this message, aliens. I represent the Urian Sacred Covenant, led by the illustrious matriarch Shushk. We rule our region of space under a divine mandate, and so long as you do not mock our faith in what passes for your culture, there may be peace between us. Your kind will not threaten our executor. The news that we have encountered an intelligent alien life, or encountered intelligent alien life for the first time, has shaken our society to the core. Leaked footage of these bizarre creatures is spreading through media outlets across the High Dominion of Syndar, and many citizens have been gripped by panic. Rioting has been reported in several cities on Syndar Prime. Yeah, definitely xenophobic by nature. These strange Xenos appear to have achieved a level of technology similar to our own, and they are clearly spacefaring. Whether they regard our great species with fear, hatred, or cold indifference is anyone's guess. We should assume the worst. So we've just gained the xenolinguistics research option, which is a big flippin' deal. We'll get to that in a minute. We have finished a first contact procedure. All right, so here's the question. I'm going to slow down to like... Ooh, there they are. Okay, that's actually amazing. If I can get to this system, then I will be comfortable with our borders. A new faction has recently been gaining traction in the internal political landscape of the High Dominion of Syndar. They call themselves the Noble Privilege Vanguard. So we now have our first 3 factions. March of the Brave, Sundrian, Ascendancy block. So what do we have? We have a xenophobe and this is the better place to look. We have a xenophobe militarist faction. We have an authoritarian militarist faction, March of the Brave, and we have an authoritarian faction. And it seems like all of these are producing additional unity, which is nice. The Sundrian Ascendancy block, yeah, so they want us to assert dominance. And they want a ruler or counselor of their ethic. Ooh, nice. So right now there are no xenophobe or militarist counselors. It's good that we're working towards unlocking another counselor. March of the Brave. So they want a conquest. They're unhappy because we have low naval capacity usage. And the Noble Privilege Vanguard wants us to have an imperial or dictatorial authority over our species. They want us to rule autocratically, which right now we don't. We have an oligarchic system. All right, so they have closed their borders. Our borders are already closed to them. Okay, that's kind of rude. Like 3 different things just popped up at once. All right, well, I'll look at these guys in just a second. I was kind of curious about them. But Carnival protesters. Protests are springing up across Syndar Prime. These large and colorful assemblies have gathered in support of singularly frivolous issues, from the right to hold public dances inside financial institutions to which color should be painted onto our defense platforms. The protests are not violent, but they are noisy. Some of the civic services on Syndar Prime have been placed under strain by the disruption. The same cannot be said for the general public, however, who, rather than being inconvenienced, seem instead to be enjoying the quirky demonstrations. We should get to the bottom of this. Begins the rise of the Manifesti event chain. So for 2 years, we have an additional 20% happiness, but specialists produce a lot less of their given resources, which is annoying. We should get to the bottom of this.
Updated.
All right, so they've closed their borders to us. Day-to-day life in the High Dominion of Syndar is colored by eccentric and disruptive public displays. Their purpose appears benign and artistically expressive, but what influence might this art have on our wider society? So there's 3 Manifesti vibes. All right, we have found remains of a warrior people on a long-abandoned battlefield, and they were carrying texts that must have been important to them. If we translate these documents, we can learn more about these people, or this people, and the wars they fought. Okay, let's go ahead and research that. It does seem like we've got a pretty good chance at locking down this area. So I'm going to push forward as hard as I can. Oh yes, that's right. So we have our first election now. I would like to try and keep Candrith, and it seems like that's going to be possible. So right now, he's providing additional stability. Counselors gain better experience. Faction approval is higher, so we get more unity every month, and he brings in additional minerals. Yeah, let's go ahead and re-elect Candrith. It seems like... It's interesting. One of the things that they mention in the update notes for 3.8 is they talk about how when you have an election, it's very clear who's going to win. And I don't know if I see that at the moment. I see 4 choices. It might be because we don't have a democratic election and it's a random candidate will be elected. So it's totally random. That it might be for a different government type. Maybe that's what it is, because this doesn't seem like there's any indication. So, yeah, there's nothing on the screen. I'm just trying to be open-minded. I don't see anything here to coincide with that. So that must be related to a different government type. So let's re-elect Candrith. And we have our borders closed to them by default anyway, so we're just staying that way. And let's go back up to speed 2 while we get everything done here. We have our science ship investigating this area. I have some anomalies I would really like to check out because they are most likely going to be Cybrix anomalies. The Manifesti, here we go, here's a vibe. The protests on Syndar Prime have ceased almost as suddenly as they began. Rumors about their origins abound, but many whispers speak of a group called the Manifesti. This enigmatic collective seems to have been responsible for a number of provocative art projects in recent years. Their subject matter every bit as spurious as the issues we're seeing protested on Syndar Prime. Arrest these so-called artists. We're going to be authoritarian. Enough with your nonsense. Art is dead, etc., so on and so forth.
Star system charted.
The Sundrians are saying that. I'm not saying that.
Construction complete.
Clearly. All right. Let's go ahead and build a mining station, followed by a research station. Our efforts to apprehend members of the Manifesti proved difficult, but have now yielded results. Once the slew of sympathetic pretenders could be sorted from the actual instigators, all Manifesti activities stopped. A great deal of public scrutiny is now coming to bear on our attitudes towards censorship, not least because this movement had encouraged such liberal thinking. Nevertheless, there has been a marked decline in vandalism and other civil distractions. So, all right, we lost the happiness boost, but we also gained productivity back. So we should see at the beginning of July, if we can call it July, month 7. All right, no, actually, things didn't change. So the modifier might have already kicked in appropriately there. Ah, they got the Mermat system. And that's fine. I just want to get this next system and I'll be happy. You know what? I want you to survey that system right now. Just go.
Technology secured.
All right, good. Nice. All right, we have our better armor for all of our ships that are currently built. So I do want to take a look at our neighbors in just a moment. Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for the next level of armor on top of that. So we have 2 basic destroyer types at the moment. Sorry, I forget now that I don't actually have a hotkey for this because I moved it. If you want to see what my hotkeys are again, well, not that it matters for you, but if you want to see the way you can move them around, you have 10 slots, and you can move all of these options to different hotkeys, including fleet management and claims. So these are the things that I have set to, I have to click on them. But the rest of them I can queue up to the various F keys, and it makes it very easy to access different aspects of the interface. Okay, so I just have my 2 basic classes of destroyer, or corvette, for now. I'm going to give the order to upgrade them. I might go ahead and start... You know what? Yeah, I will. I'm going to do a second fleet. So, yeah, see, there I go again, going for F10. So let's do this for the first time. If I copy the template... Now I've given the order. That's it. That's the whole fleet. So now we're going to have 2 fleets of the same strength level. We had complete. I was going to say envoys. We had the alloys necessary to build them, which is fantastic.
Special project complete.
We've been doing well economically, so we were able to benefit from that. Also, we have a militaristic economy, so we're generating clearly more allies than we are consumer goods. We have a consumer goods shortage at the moment, but we will deal with that. Our language experts have been at it for weeks to try and translate the documents we found in the old battlefield. Today, we finally have some results. We now know that the fallen warriors all followed the teachings of a philosopher called Talisa the Teller of Tales. The documents are breakdowns of tactics, strategy, and most importantly, logistics in interstellar warfare. Being a strong spokesperson against war, Talisa still found this to be essential knowledge for steering into the future. Even the most peaceful of people might be forced into a corner in their work for a better world. Splendid. So now we have a new edict available to us. The Warring States Edict, which increases naval capacity and reduces army upkeep. Okay. I can help with my current situation here. Currently, 20.52 consumer goods are being consumed by population every month. I can reduce that by 2, which is 10% of 20.52. It's like 2.05. So it's not a huge reduction. But let's do that just to offset the shortage that we're experiencing a little bit. Probably a good idea.
Technology secured.
What have we here? Notice the auto pause. Loving that still. Just got to get used to it. Fusion reactor is done. Ooh, blue laser? Probably. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that done. Now the second star order is already... Yeah, these ships are still following their upgrade order. So all of those... It's going to take a second for that upgrade order to go through because we're building a bunch of ships at the Sin station. We have found a heavily damaged bipedal robot floating in space. We do not understand its energy source, but we may be able to retrieve information from its memory. Research, please. Yeah, we have 3 decent planets in that sector. None of them are great, but we can still go for them. Oh no, they're going to get Ushakaran. They're going to get it. They're going to get it. I had a feeling.
Construction complete.
Okay, well in that case, come back and finish surveying here as rapidly as possible. All right, starbase upkeep minus 20%. All right, this is our first ascension perk. Because we adopted all of the expansion traditions, we now have additional district, or one more district. We have one more possible district on all of our colonies. The max district cap has been raised. And we can choose an ascension perk. Okay, so I kind of, in my playthroughs with the High Dominion so far and kind of refamiliarizing myself with them, I like the idea of going for technological supremacy as the first ascension perk. So that's kind of where I'm leaning, but we have already met a hostile alien force. And by the way, we need to spy on them. Need to look at that in just a second. But nihilistic acquisition will also be important so that we can raid them for slaves. One Vision also useful because we have the monthly unity bonus, so traditions will be accrued faster. Amenities will be consumed less voraciously, and our governing ethics attraction will improve, so we will have less infighting. Yeah, let's go for technological ascendancy. Research speed plus 10%, and rare technologies now appear at 1.5 times the normal rate. Alright, the Anthros Mandate is ready for its colony upgrade. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm really annoyed that I wasn't able to lock down this whole cluster, but that just gives me a reason to declare war against them, so I'll take it. We have found a bipedal robot floating in space. Its faceplate is featureless and its metal exterior is damaged. Preliminary scans indicate it has residual power, but its power source is radically different from our own. Its internal circuitry may hold memories of its previous existence, but recharging it and translating its information will take time. Scan the robot. Alright, so we still have one more manifesty vibe to discover. Alright, I'm going to order my construction ship to get out of there. Old Soul. Through diligent effort, we have found a way to recharge the robot's power supply and scan its memory bank. Sadly, the machine has deteriorated so badly that we cannot retrieve coherent information. We will consider a follow-up study, and we may search for others of its kind, but the fate of this mechanical castaway must remain a mystery. Fascinating. Okay, head of research. So we can either... These are some veteran traits, which you're already a veteran researcher, but now we can be an archivist, which will add additional archaeology skill to everyone. And then expansionist, which will make outposts and starbases cheaper. Ooh, that's mean. Also, scientists will have more experience gain. I'm going to go for archivist. I love the idea of having that improved archaeology skill right now. I just think that we've been leaning in that direction for the beginning of the game, and I want to keep leaning in that direction. Okay, so now we have job openings here, and there's actually a reason for me to build the Auditon Monument at this point. How many culture worker jobs are there here? 2 culture workers. They take consumer goods, they turn them into Unity, Edicts Fund, Naval Capacity, Citizen Pop Happiness, and Governing Ethics Attraction. It's just such a hugely overpowered building. Well, maybe not overpowered, but there's just so much going on with it. Okay. I'm actually going to lean into the tech improvement a little bit, because we've only been able to establish 3 colonies so far. We're going to have a second research lab there. All right, so, yeah, our construction ship was just forced to return home. And so was the science ship. Oh my god, we're going to lose both of these now. We're going to lose both of these now, because they've already surveyed the system. There's the construction ship on the way. I needed that science ship just to get back and finish surveying Uxuri, but because their borders encapsulated Ushakaran before I could get out, no dice. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, so far they haven't headed this way, but I very much doubt my research ship will get all the way over here first. Let me go ahead and give an order. Okay, well, that's a lot tougher to defend, because now that's 3 systems as opposed to 1 that I have to kind of set up stations. I'll do it. I don't have a choice. But now we almost, like, we have to go to war with them. That's going to happen. So let's go ahead and start establishing a spy network with them. Let's see. Yeah, we don't know much about them, so I'm just going to let the spy work for a moment. I should have already done that, to be honest. Spy network established. Xeno Scum indeed. Let's go ahead and reinforce the fleet. You should have already been fully reinforced. I thought I'd hit the button and it said fleet was at full strength, but I guess not. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I'm hoping that my science ship... What? Okay, I was about to say, why are you surveying? But they are actually on an order to travel over here.
Vessels upgraded.
All right, there goes the construction ship. Yeah, they're coming here. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do where I can get this science ship there fast enough. I feel so helpless. This sucks. Screw you, man. That's two like decent planets for me that they're just taking. They're straight up taking it. I am so going to war with you. You don't understand what you've just done. You have just poked the bear like you don't even know.
Construction complete.
All right, so all three of those are finished building. Candrith, Executor, has reached his veteran level for the first time. So we can make him a pioneer, which means we have additional pop growth speed. We can make him an industrial... I was checking to see if it was a governor bonus, but that is for everyone. We can make him an industrialist, which means we get additional resources from jobs and pops use fewer amenities. Or we can make him a visionary, and this means pop upkeep in general would be reduced and trade value would be increased. I kind of like the idea of having him be an industrialist, so let's go for that, for the research bonuses. And yeah, they're going to take Uk's Fury from me. So what I'm going to do as soon as they take it is I'm going to claim it.
Vessels upgraded.
I'm super salty about this. Let's go ahead. First of all, this is Fleet 1. That's Fleet 2. I don't know how strong they are compared to me, but as soon as I know, we're going to find out. And it doesn't have to be a big war. I'm just going to take those systems from them as soon as possible. Man, I really pushed hard to not only to get those fully surveyed as fast as I could, but also to get back and finish surveying here once it was clear that they were going to take Ushakaran from me. And the fact that they still...
Technology secured.
Man, that is not nearly as bad of a slap in the face. It's not nearly as bad. It's not even nearly as frustrating as the situation that happened in the beginning of Clandestine Curiosity, but it's... Because now I feel like I can actually hit back, and it's not nearly as egregious. But, man, this is like forward settling to the nth degree. Grants a lump sum of influence, allows renowned leaders... Pause, game. Why are you not paused? Allows renowned leaders to appear. First contact discovery speed is increased by 20%, and unlocks the Interstellar Recruitment Office, which increases the chance for renowned leaders to contact us. This is xenolinguistics, a very important technology. I'm actually not going to go for it just yet because I would really, really like to unlock some of these other basic buildings, like Interstellar Fleet Traditions and also Fleet Command Limit, but Interstellar Fleet Traditions at first. Like, we need that right now. Yeah, and we also needed those colony worlds, but I can at least go ahead and build a starbase here. We have a science ship that has returned. Now... let's see if we can figure out... I do want you to go ahead and excavate these. This is our head of research. And we're going to start taking control. We can colonize these over here, so it's not like we're out of luck. We're going to have 3 more colonies over here, but I wanted those 2. Damn it. I wanted this entire cluster. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to select these 2 systems, and I'm going to claim them. And if they have a problem with that, they should just think about the fact that that cluster is adjacent to my space. Well, it's about equidistant to theirs as well. But it's mine. It's mine. And we're going to take it from them. So, next, I think domination. I think we almost have to. Because, remember, once we fully complete the domination tree, we... have the hegemony federation type. Monthly influence would be increased by 0.5 using this tradition. Governors would gain 20% more experience. Capital and housing boost. Counselors gain more experience, and I have a lot more edicts fund. enhanced surveillance, and forces also produce 1 additional unity. And then, of course, a tradition to increase worker and slave pop resource output. I could go for one of the new trees. So if you didn't know this, we have 2 new tradition trees as well. We have the aptitude tradition tree, and we have the statecraft tradition tree. Aptitude is, well, I'll just read it. Our empire can truly prosper under the guidance of strong leaders. So this is based on making the new leaders even better than they already are. This reduces leader upkeep by 25%, leader upkeep costs. And when you finish this entire tree, all new leaders get additional starting traits, 1 more. And then, of course, you get the Ascension perk. Statecraft is council-based, so it's based on the group of them working together. So you can have a more effective council if you go for statecraft. I'm also kind of tempted to go for subterfuge. Or subterfuge. So discovery is also tempting. I think I would like to try for domination first and foremost. I think that fits in terms of the narrative identity
Council agenda available.
of the High Dominion of Syndar. That is one of the clearest choices. We also just unlocked the Civil Exclusion agenda, which increases worker pop and slave pop resource output, especially once it's launched. It starts with 5% and goes up to 20% once it's launched, which is really freaking great. But we are at the 36-minute mark for this episode, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here, take a bit of a breath to process the shenanigans they've just pulled off, and I really want to find out more about how powerful they are relative to me. They have they're a target of a Casus Belli from us, but it doesn't look like they have a Casus Belli on us at the moment. So let's see, we have these, so we have our science ship looking at these 2 archaeological sites, and then this science ship looking through these systems. I mean, hopefully there's a planet in here somewhere. I'm kind of hoping for that, but once we're done with those, I think what I'd like to do is queue up the completion of some of these anomalies. And we do have these worlds down here. So why don't you go ahead and build these mining stations and research stations. And then I want you to build let me look up here real quick. Yeah, that starbase is already being built. I want you to build the starbase in Tier next. Actually, wait, no, don't do that. Just finish the starbase that you're building. There we go. Yeah, so that restarted, but restarted it by like a month of progress. It's fine. Yeah, we're good. I always get thrown off with the increased influence cost of systems. Like if you queue up a system in, like I just did there, the reason I canceled that is, will the game recognize? I've never actually confirmed this, but the reason that I get a little skittish in those moments, you can probably relate, is if you queue up an order to build a starport when it costs 100 influence because it's farther from your borders and it's not adjacent to a system that you already own, if you queue that up when it costs more, but then you build a starbase in an adjacent system, will it build it at the reduced cost or keep the cost that you queued it up as? Which is why I, get a little bit nervous about making sure that doesn't even happen. It doesn't even have a chance of happening. Even though I'm pretty confident that they've built that into the game and it works that way, it makes me feel better to have that little bit of control over the process to ensure that doesn't occur. So we'll stop here, and in the next one, we'll find out just how strong these fools are and see if we can't take back some of the territory that they just ganked from me, so we can establish some additional colonies in this area and just have fewer stations to maintain as well. That will be a huge goal, so that we're not, putting all of our eggs in this single basket when we technically have 2 other fronts to defend on as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at 3 p.m. US Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.